experiential learning at Anglo Educational Services. So I thought it'd be useful to kind of introduce who we are to start with. So we basically focus on study abroad programs in London. So we have been around for nearly 50 years now, and we kind of have all of the accommodation, we have our study centre, and we also do the academics and internships for students all across the US, really coming over to London for a semester or a summer session abroad. So as I said, we kind of do cover all the different aspects of a study abroad program. So we have where you will be housed in our accommodation. We will source and manage the internships. We will also deliver the academic programs, although obviously credit is still through GMU. And then we also can arrange any educational tours. So this is us. This is kind of who you'd be interacting with if you came across or during your application stage. This is kind of who you'd be speaking with. So obviously I have myself on the top right. I'm Beth, and I kind of focus on the internships. Then we also have Stephanie down the bottom. Stephanie is Student Services Manager, but also Visa Compliance Officer. So while you're applying for your visa to come across in order to intern and study in London, Stephanie will guide you through that whole process and make sure that you get your visa on time. And then kind of overseeing the department is Dr. Leslie Zweigman, and he focuses more on the academics. So I've just got a little video, if it shares sound. I know sometimes it can be a nightmare of kind of who we are and what we do. Maybe, Kelly, if you give me a thumbs up if sound plays or not.
Anglo Educational Services is a long-established provider for study abroad programs to the UK and Europe, offering academic and logistical support for semester and short-term programs, plus accommodation and study centre venues. AES works closely with its clients to deliver a multifaceted experience, meeting each student's interest and providing them with the essential tools to experience London living. We believe in constantly adapting to offer new experiences and facilities for our visiting students and universities. This year we opened Richbell House, the AES administrative headquarters and study centre. AES also launched 2 newly built apartment blocks in Tower Hill and Hoxton, all to enhance our students' experiences and learning. This summer, we introduced our virtual internship program, offering those who wish to benefit from an overseas placement the opportunity to intern with a UK-based company. AES is proud to showcase its School of Record agreement with the University of Connecticut, with virtual and in-person courses from UConn's curriculum, plus an internship for academic credit. At AES, we are working with global universities to achieve their international educational objectives.
However, so everything that was kind of mentioned there, I am going to go into more detail now.
Anglo Educational Services is
So if I press that. So as mentioned in the video, this is our study centre. So if you came across to do a summer session with us, this is basically where you would be taking your courses. So we are situated in Holborn. It's a brand new centre, opened last year. And this picture that you can see is the student lounge. That's available for all students to kind of socialise in. There's also a telly with kind of I don't know, students sometimes play music off it, or the news is playing, and students tend to work there or meet there for lunch and just kind of in between classes generally hang out. So it's good for meeting other people and other students across on their own study abroad program from the US. And also in this study centre, we also obviously have our offices. So we're here, we're based on the ground floor right behind reception. So I'm here at any point if you ever just need to pop in. And then we also have printing facilities and Wi-Fi and everything like that. So it's kind of just a good base for you guys and where you would, as I said, be taking your classes. So focusing on the actual programs now, we can have a choice of 3. So we're going to go through to start with the student route one, which is a part-time internship, part-time academics. Then I'm going to move on to the tier 5 program, which is a full-time internship and no academics. And then I'm going to briefly talk about the virtual internships as well at the end. So starting with this one, this is a student route visa program. So this is formerly a tier 4 visa. And this is a program that runs for 8 weeks. I mean, all the dates are the same for all of the programs. So every program runs for 8 weeks from the 5th of July to the 31st of July. This particular program, as I said, you do a part-time internship alongside your academics. So normally speaking, you kind of do 2 or 1.5 days of class and then equal the same amount for your internship. And all of the internships are based around your major or your career goals. So when you apply for the program, you'll basically fill out an internship questionnaire, and then we will kind of have a phone call and go through all of that and discuss it all. And then we will find a placement that we think best fits with what you're looking for and kind of guide you through that whole placement process. We would talk about that and go through that in a lot more detail when it comes to the actual placement process. And then on the classes side, the classes that you will take in our study centre is an internship seminar. So that goes alongside, obviously, the internship and helps you reflect and learn about what you're kind of doing in your internship and those cultural differences between the US and the UK, and then also British life and culture. And these classes you will be taking with other university students from the US, from different universities. So again, it's a great way for you to meet people who are also from the US over here on their study abroad program. This visa is sponsored by us. As I said, Stephanie will help you through that whole visa process. Roughly, it takes about 12 weeks to complete, but at the same time of kind of applying for that visa, we'll also be doing all of the internships as well. So it all moves really quickly, and it's really easy to apply for that student route one. So as long as we have enough time, you'll be absolutely fine to get that. So for the Tier 5 one, again, the dates are the exact same, but this is a full-time internship. So there's no academics at all. It's all, it's just 5 days a week internship. And again, it will still be based around your major or your career goals, whatever you're looking for. And it will be based within a London company. So all of our internship placements are based within zones 1 and 2. So I'm not sure if you know much about London, but London kind of stems out. So the lower the number, the more central you are. So it goes from zone 1 to 6. So if you're in zones 1 or 2, you're as central as it can get. And all of our placements are within those zones. Similar to the previous program, you will still earn academic credit for this internship, except obviously it's just full time, so you do get a lot more experience and obviously you can get involved with a lot more within the company, which is always good. But this program, you are on a Tier 5 visa, which is slightly different. So this visa is a bit more complicated to apply for, but again, Stephanie's still on hand to help you through it. And for this visa, you do have to be placed at your internship prior to applying for the visa. So it can take a bit longer, and obviously the whole placement process needs to start earlier because we have to have you placed before you can apply. And also the companies have to kind of meet certain requirements and submit a training plan for yourself. So it requires more from both yourself and the host company, but as long as we have that time, which we obviously do for all of your deadlines and everything, application deadlines, then it's an absolute breeze as well. So we will help you alongside that as well, and help you get that placement. And then finally, also the virtual internship. So again, same dates, but also it can be really flexible because obviously you don't need to come over or have a visa or anything. And it's basically the exact same thing. You're just doing a part-time unpaid internship, but from the comfort of your own home. All the application is the exact same. So you would still go through the whole placement process as before, and you would still get the academic credit, but it's a lot more flexible and based around your other commitments. So if you're doing, I don't know, summer classes, or if you've got a part-time job at home as well, the host companies are really flexible with working around that, and you're not kind of expected to be up, you know, for our working day, which is obviously the middle of your night. It's really flexible, and it kind of, you just kind of work that out between yourself and the supervisor on what days would work best for you. So that's really useful if you're kind of looking for a bit more of that flexibility, because the other ones are quite strict for the visa requirements. But similarly, the opportunities are still just as vast in the virtual internship, obviously, unless you're looking for something really in-person based, such as, I don't know, teaching or clinical research, that kind of thing. The opportunities are still much the same. And for virtual internships, they are a lot more project based. So even though, so you kind of won't be involved in more of the mundane, you know, day-to-day running of the company, you're going to be a lot more project based and have kind of that project to see you through from beginning to end for that period with a remote internship. For all of the internships as well, obviously, whichever one you're on, we are here throughout. So we will, if at any point something's not going right or you're not happy with how it's going or anything like that, we can, we're obviously here to assist in any way that we can. But also if, but formally speaking, we do also do the mid and final evaluation. So halfway through the internship, we will meet with yourself and your supervisor, or either virtually or in person, and basically see how things are going on each side and run through everything you've been getting involved with. But then also there's obviously the final evaluation, and that will obviously takes place at the end of the internship, and that kind of just involves your supervisor, but builds on the mid evaluation to kind of see what growth has been made since that point, and what else you've been getting involved with since the midpoint. And those 2 evaluations do get sent back to GMU, so that obviously for your academic credit they can see kind of how you've been doing and what kind of tasks and skills you've been developing. So those are kind of the formal points for all of any internship program that you take part of. They will be involved in all of them. Moving on to the accommodation. So if you do the tier 4, the tier 5 or the student route program, you will stay in our accommodation. So similarly to the internship placements, all of our accommodation are within zones 1 and 2. This is an example block of one of our housings, and they are all, especially since COVID, we've kind of really revamped our housing. So they're all really modern and spacious apartments. Every apartment has 24-hour emergency lines. We're around for anything that could go wrong at any time of the day or night. They all have wireless internet. You do get provided with obviously your bedding and towels, etc. And then also they are cleaned once a week by cleaning as well. So you will, upon arrival, getting housing orientation from our housing team, which obviously will talk you through all the appliances and when the cleaning would take place and all of that. But just for you to get a feel for the accommodation. And I think I also have a video for that. So let's see if that works.
Encourage our students to embrace Britain as much as possible. We give them advice of local areas for them to visit, whether it's Notting Hill to go see Portobello Market, or to Brick Lane so they can experience traditional curry. We also organise events where they can meet other students, whether it's a pizza night or whether it's a movie night. And we also advise them to embrace, obviously, to meet other places in the UK, whether they visit Manchester, visit Liverpool, or head up to Scotland to see Edinburgh.
Pricing is always negotiated with our university partners, but self-contained apartments are extremely cost effective. Stays can be as short as 2 to 3 weeks rather than an entire semester. And Anglo has always had the reputation of providing the least cost and the best service.
AES have staff members that have attended counselling courses to provide the right support for students that are visiting London, whether they are feeling a little bit homesick or they feel suffering from mental health. We have a team that is there to give the students the right support and guidance.
I have seen students arrive in London quite shy and nervous, but having spent a few weeks in London and as long as a semester, they leave here very different and very confident students. I have seen students return with their parents a few years later when the students are the guide.
That was not the video I was expecting, but I guess it still gives you a flavour for the apartment. So it's completely different. We'll actually show you around the apartment. So, but I can get that over to Kelly. You can always see that at a later stage to kind of get a feel. But those still the videos and the pictures of the apartments in there are the apartments that we've taken on since COVID. So we will be placed in one of those apartments. I think that is everything. I feel like it was quite a whistle-stop tour, but if there's any questions or anything that maybe I didn't cover well, feel free to speak up and ask any questions. Is there one in the chat or is that Kelly? Oh yeah. No, there aren't any age restrictions. Obviously, you have to be 18, but I'm guessing to be at university, you are 18 plus. But other than that, no, there's no age restrictions. There's a minimum GPA of 2.75, I believe. But no, as long as you're over 18 and at university studying, then no, there are no age restrictions.